Welcome back, everyone. It's been a while. I've been pretty inactive since I've been back from my trip in China. I've working a ton. Actually created my own company here. You can see a ton of pepper plants. I'm growing like 20,000 pepper plants, and I'll be starting my own company up here and making hot sauces and food distribution and all kinds of stuff. But I will explain what's going on with the Trump administration and why I think India has made some horrible mistakes lately. First off, they're really disconnected. They think they're really close with this Republican Party with Trump, and they're really not at all. They're not paying attention what's going on in Europe. They're not paying attention what's working and what's not working with this administration. And they just assume that Muslims are terrorists. The Republican Party doesn't like terrorists and all that, and it's not working. And the biggest loss, and I know you guys are obsessed with military, because anytime I talk about military stuff, you guys love guns and jets and wars and missiles, and you like that kind of details. But I'm more based on the intelligence factor of it, and I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake India made. First off, Trump is he's a businessman. You negotiate business. And if you're in business, you got to be likable. If someone's really rude or it's hard to deal with, you don't deal with them. And they usually get phased out of business very quickly. So you've seen what the leader of Ukraine, when he came over to visit Trump and he was kind of arrogant, the whole Republican Party absolutely hated him. Even Trudeau, these Canadians in Europe, when they act arrogant or, got this kind of attitude, they're not going to deal with them. They'll deal with Russia. And even now getting into Israel, it doesn't work. Everyone's been saying they don't like neocons anymore. They don't have Pompeo. They don't have John Bolton. Nikki Haley's hated. None of them like them. Okay, so that old Muslim thing, they know 9/11 was an inside job. They know it was all bullshit. So it's not popular. And India acts like, this is still going on. And it hasn't worked for Israel. And Israel's way more powerful than the Indian lobby is. Way more powerful. And the biggest damage that's going to really happen to India is it was actually horrible timing. When this whole thing went down, it was horrible timing for India, because he just had a horrible fallout with Benjamin Netanyahu. And from what I understood, they were going to make Israel a good deal. They were going to be like, okay, we know that attack with Hamas was Mossad inside there, and you allowed them to attack. We know it's bullshit. We'll even work with you on that. We'll even work with Egypt and Turkey and some other nations to help disperse the Palestinians out of there. Give you that beachfront in Gaza, give you the West Bank. We'll make you some good deals. So they tried their damnedest to make good deals with Israel, Netanyahu. And they kept pushing, we want Iran. We can't give you Iran because that's a red line with Russia and China. And then finally, Trump just had enough. Just like a businessman, you deal with an asshole, you can't deal with him. So now he worked around Benjamin Netanyahu. And he says, I'm not going to deal with him anymore. And he's doing the exact same thing with Modi. And so we're trying to and this is the thing that's really hurt India. And they're not nearly as smart as they think they are. Maybe they should eat some grass-fed halal meat. Maybe their intelligence agency, RAW, should eat some grass-fed halal meat and get some more nutrients to their brain, because they're not thinking right. What they did is they come across arrogant. So they come in and it's like, we want you to condemn what happened in Kashmir. We want you to do this. We wanted to say Pakistan's terrorists. We want you to do this. And we're like, okay, we're trying to make deals with Turkey. We're trying to make deals with Iran. We're trying to make deals with Saudi. We're trying to make deals with Qatar. And all they can see is things from their perspective. We don't care about that. This is Southeast Asia. This is our area. They're terrorists. You condemn them. And if you have an arrogant, bossy attitude like that with this Trump administration, I guarantee you're not going to have good luck. And you think we got this Republican Party on our team. All Trump has to do is one goddamn speech for 1 minute, and you lose all your soft power. All he has to say, I've tried to deal with India. They're arrogant people that feel entitled, and they think they're better than us. They think they're smarter than us, and they won't listen to us. They're arrogant people. That's all he has to say, and then you are stuck with that brand. And good luck trying to get rid of it. I've talked to Pakistan, and they're easy to deal with. They're nice. They're friendly. We can negotiate with them. We cannot negotiate with India because they're rude people, and they're hard to deal with. And they make it harder for us to deal with other Arab nations. So we're going to get bad deals because of India. And India doesn't care. India doesn't care if we get bad deals with Turkey. India doesn't care if we have bad deals with Saudi. India doesn't care about our money issues, as far as dealings and oil and transportation and all the other stuff, logistic. They don't care about that. India doesn't care if they get us wrapped in a war and get American soldiers killed. So if India gets branded with that horrible soft power message, they're in deep trouble. And soft power is really important these days, you see. And that's one issue where I had a problem with China is when I was over in China, anything ran by their government was great. I mean, they're clean cut, smart, polite, really nice. But then these kind of semi-Chinese American speakers, especially the British, they're trying to use their own kind of liberal agenda and ricochet off China and come back at us. And they're making things far worse for China than they need to be. And making mistakes against this Republican Party and this administration is really bad. And India has made a mistake. And Europe has made a horrible mistake too at Russia. A real bad one. One that can actually end NATO. Permanently end NATO. So to get back at Trump with these tariffs, they said, we're going to boycott all the Republican states. And we're going to go against Republicans. The problem with that is the vast majority, I've told you guys over and over and over again, the vast majority of our military is Republican. Pro-Trump red states. The vast majority of them. The vast majority of our military recruiting is Republican states. They like recruiting people from the country that deal with guns. Why? Because they're always better soldiers. They always have. So if they really push that issue that Europe hates Republicans, they hate red states, they hate conservatives, they hate veterans, they could shut down every goddamn military base in Europe, and they'd never be able to get military back over there. And some military people are like, oh, we're going to try and make the military non-political. The problem is that then you have to turn the military into a mercenary, like Blackwater or Russia's Wagner. You can't do that. So if Russia used that card against us, they could end NATO on that one topic. Hating Republicans, hating red states, tariff red states. Just on that topic, they could permanently end NATO. They could permanently end United States military support to Europe. Permanently. Just on a stupid mistake. And India could end any kind of military support or even business opportunity for them with their arrogant attitude very easily. Because if Trump comes to them and says, okay, you're hurting our business ties with these other Arab countries, and at least China's talking to us and working with us, what if we run a whole bunch of businesses and cell phones and electronics and a whole bunch of businesses in your country, and we have some little problem? You're going to give us that same arrogant attitude, or you're going to either listen to us or we're going to shut all these factories down. You're a high liability. India is a higher liability than China is. And their arrogant attitude is far more damaging than that attack in Kashmir. Far more damaging than a bunch of jets getting fought down. Even if you won some battles or blew up some bases or did something in Pakistan, your arrogant attitude that you've shown is far bigger loss than anything else. And I guarantee this Trump administration is not happy with Netanyahu right now. They're not happy with this European Union. And they're not happy with India. You made an absolutely horrible mistake. And all Trump has to do is one 30-second speech saying that you're arrogant people that are hard to deal with and you can't negotiate, and you're making it harder for us to run our business deals in the Middle East because of you. And then you are in deep trouble. We'll cover this topic in the future, and we'll see what these idiots in New Delhi are actually going to do about it.